he doesn't really have an argument.
I don't know. I mean, do I think that they want 90% of the Gaza destroyed? No, I don't.
But if they actually cared about their people, they'd have let them evacuate and stopped using them as cover, don't you think? Wouldn't they have thrown them in the tunnels to say you better hide from all the bombs that are coming in?
Sure, if Israel actually cared about their people, they wouldn't make everybody a soldier.
No, don't flip the argument. You keep on doing stuff.
Let's focus on the question, Diego, then we can go somewhere else. But right
Focus
now,
on what we're talking about. Don't flip it. It doesn't help.
No, don't be consistent across every group
but
and
what
party
does
that's
one thing
involved.
have to do with the
That's what
other?
you're asking.
Yes,
No.
military service is obligatory in Israel. So what? That doesn't have anything to do.
So that makes everybody a fair target. If you're a soldier, you're a fair target, right?
You're going to start talking about numbers now. You're going to start telling us about how many people got killed on one side compared to the other. Is that where you're going with this conversation? Because that's not what happened.
No.
Just checking.
No, because that would be
But
called
you can recognize that every death in Gaza is convenient to Hamas because that helps their narrative. And that helps with the justification, and that helps with the quote-unquote provocation that you were referring to before.
What people don't understand is that Israel has the firepower to wipe Hamas out instantly. Instantly.
Why Hitler killed you? Why Hitler kill you in Jewish people? This
Okay,
character.
well, bye, Mo.
Instead,
they have the firepower, but they don't have the PR.
Yeah, but don't you
stamina
see
to
that
do to pull that off.
Oh, but I thought you said the Jews control the media. So what do you mean they don't have the PR?
Don't you see that Hamas wants civilian deaths? Don't you see that?
No, I don't
Can't
see
you
that.
see that they want? You don't see that. So why? Okay, if you don't see that, then how can you be an honest faith actor in this whole conversation? If you know true well, if you believe that they want to save their own people, they would have put their people underground and tried to hide them from Israelis to save them. They didn't do that. In fact, they blocked them from escaping. They told them that they had to stay in certain buildings.
By the way, switching the example to Israelis, Israel has open borders. You can go, you can leave. Even if you're military age, you can get out of the country and observe. It doesn't work.
I mean, the example of like this initiation of force is like someone breaks into my home and I shoot at them with like, let's say 5 shots, and one shot penetrates like another neighbor's home and kills someone. Am I morally responsible? Absolutely not, because in that circumstance, there's a person breaking into to my home with a gun. I don't know their intentions. All I know is that they violated my rights, and as a result, I'm trying to protect myself. Now, obviously I'm gonna feel bad, but I'm not morally responsible for that death. Because if that person would have never broken into my home, I would have never had to have shot, that person would have never died.
That actually depends on the judiciary system of the country that you live in.
Well, I'm not saying legally, I'm saying morally.
Well, that kind of, I think, reflects the morality of the place in this specific scenario. Not always, but in this case, in some countries, you would be morally expected to be sure that you are not harming anyone else while protecting yourself. In other countries,
well, I mean, how would I guarantee? There's no guarantee for that.
The legality of something speaks about the morality of a country. Like whatever you decide to make legal speaks about the morality of the country.
Yeah, well, I wasn't making a legal argument. I was just making a moral argument. But again, like I'm talking about like myself. Like no matter how bad I would feel, like I would always put the moral blame on the intruder. Because without the intruder, there's no justification for me to shoot. And if my neighbors were rational human beings, they would also put the blame on the intruder. Because there's no way they could I can guarantee the safety of
yeah, but then I mean, like you need a lot of context as well. Because for example, let's say it's your house and Pumalu is the intruder, right? So he's getting into your house and you feel morally to shoot him. Okay, but let's say that before that happening, you raped Pumalu's wife, right? So there is a provocation. So Pumalu is defending, or whatever it is that you violated first, and that's the reason why he attacked you. And then you ended up shooting him. Now, it would be who is in the moral there? You
complicated this entire situation.
You raped his wife first.
Right, so then I initiated force on him.
Correct. So
then
he wasn't
we
the
already
right
know.
to go after you, which I think it's kind of like what Diego is coming from. The only thing is that there was no raping of the woman or the intrusion that he says, and he's saying that provocation was imprisoning 5,000 people, and that's the only example that he has come up with so far.
Well, that's just a justification. I mean, it's obviously not. Basically what he's saying, we could apply to Mexicans. Mexicans have the right to just slaughter Americans because they're being held at the border in camps.
Or being held in American prisons.
Or American prisons. Well, you justify it however you want, but Mexicans are being held by the American government.
But listen,
So
the
That's
Palestinian...
a ridiculous claim to make.
The pro-Palestinian kind of talking point and playbook is very simple. They will insist on the fact that there is an occupation. When you say that there is no occupation because Gaza has no whatever, they will say that, well, but Israel controls all the borders and airspace and whatever. When you point out that Egypt controls one of the borders, they will say yes, but they're just doing the Zionist bidding, and so on it goes.
Yeah, the open-air prison as well, and the water
Well,
and the
that's what I was
electricity
talking
and
about.
all of these kind of stuff that in the end is like, if that is not territory of Israel, why should Israel provide them with water or electricity or anything at all? They're not under any obligation. If anything, they're doing it because they want to or whatever, but not all the electricity and not the majority of the water comes either from Israel. Like, Gaza can provide their own resources.
No, they can't.
If you run the whole dialogue tree to the conclusion, it always gets to the point where whole Israel is not actually Israel. It's stolen land. It's Palestinian land. Therefore, the aggression is justified.
Did Gaza have an airport before?
No.
Yes, it had an airport for a very short
that's
time.
true.
It did for a very short time.
What happened to that?
It was
Started
shut down.
reporting bombs.
No, they had like 2 airplanes. It was I don't know where they flew to, but it was shut down after I think it was open 2007, 8ish, and then rockets came and it got shut down.
Was it like an attack, like a airstrike or something? And
I don't know. We can look it up.
but Pumalu, I think that what you were doing with Diego was the right approach. I mean, you asked exactly the right questions, and your let's say presentation of the facts was good, and I think that that's the way that we need to talk to Diego, because he just hides behind.
It's not just Diego, it's everybody who has these.
Yeah, but Diego is one of the few that I care about to have a conversation with, because the other people, it's just exhausting, and maybe it's because I know Diego already for a long time, and I've had very good conversations with him, and I consider him a thinking person. I like Diego a lot, but I find him to be disingenuous when it comes to these topics specifically.
Yeah, look, I mean, I like to respond, to these guys specifically when we were talking about provocation, and what you're seeing here is guys come in, they don't know what they're talking about. There's a high energy. They've got this kind of because we're on this app, this frenzy, social media frenzy. So the whole debate is driven and Soren does this all the time. It's all done in a rhetorical style. because he wants to be argumentative for the sake of being argumentative. When Simon quite rightly said, or whoever it was said, what's the name of that person you're talking about? He just has no idea. He just wants to be confrontational. That's all he wants to be. So, and I find it with quite a few of them that got this like memorable phrasing structure where everything is rhetorical. All their questions are rhetorical, and they're very short-lived. And as soon as you start answering, they'll go to another subject to try and debunk your argument, which is
It's
silly.
exhausting.
So it raises the question, which I struggle with. That's my jihad. My internal struggle is, why the F do I go into those rooms? Because A, I'm not going to get them to change their position, and
No,
B,
this
they're
is
not.
this room, Jakob.
Yeah, I know. And also Amir's room and several of those rooms. You're never going to change their point of view, and they're not going to change our point of view. So, like, what's the reason why do we go into those rooms?
Well,
Because we were having a conversation, testing the logic behind the argument, and you were not here, Jakob, but we were not having the typical back and forth Israel versus Palestine.
Yeah, right.
Testing
I
the
go
logic
for the
behind it.
dopamine.
to be honest, I really appreciate people who do go into those rooms, because I remember years ago when like I didn't have any idea about like these conflicts and like what the positions of people were. I mean, like I really appreciated the people who put forth their own positions like on both sides, so that I can actually hear what like the average person is saying, what the talking points are, and then I can just go from there and then see, okay, what information might have I missed.
Yep.
And then I'll take it from there.
I mean,
I always appreciate it, because it's not necessarily like that person that you're doing it for, like the person you're talking to, but
I mean, Jakob, Jakob asked an interesting question. Like, what is it? Why are you addicted to going into those rooms? Like,
I am too. It's not a bad thing. I do the same thing.
Dopamine.
we're not going to change people's minds. So, we go to these rooms because, and they're toxic conversations, and we're knowing that it's all full of hate, but it's not about changing their minds. It's actually more about exposing the lies, because I'm interested to know. I personally am interested to know what lies these guys are spreading. I mean, they don't debate in good faith, first of all. I mean, their goal is to spread hateful propaganda. None of it's true. A lot of it's not true. And we're not going there for them. I think we're going to challenge their false narratives. I mean, I go in to challenge the false narrative, and if they go unchallenged,
Right.
then people just assume they're right. So
I go in.
yeah, I mean, look, I'll go in to make sure that the lies don't go unchecked. I mean, look, I'll give you an example. Like yesterday, I got into a bit of a tete-a-tete with Amir, because he called me out for something which I brought up in relation to Donald Trump putting out an executive order against South Africa in relation to their relationship with Hamas. And a few days ago, he said to me, "That's completely untrue. That's not true. Blah blah blah." In fact, in one conversation, I said it was because of South Africa's relationship with the ICJ. That's why Trump's got involved. But you can't take away from the fact that Trump has actually pointed out the ICJ, and he's pointed out South Africa, and he's made very clear South Africa's relationship with Hamas and Iran. So,
What relationship does South Africa have got with Hamas?
well, they harbor Hamas terrorists. They've got officers for Hamas in South Africa.
And they're a mouthpiece.
I didn't
because-
know this.
South Africa gets a lot of money in the back doors from Iran, essentially to do their bidding. So when they needed a country that wasn't kind of directly involved with Iran, clearly is kind of indirectly involved with Hamas and Hezbollah. So they needed a country. So bing, bang, boom, we got South Africa. Oh, because they're the originators of apartheid. They know what apartheid is like, and Israel is this apartheid king. So it was so, in their minds, such an opportunity to have South Africa bring the case.
But talking about that room, I mean, the thing is, they want you to be afraid. They want you to stay quiet. They want you not to fight back. And every time we speak up, we prove that we're not going to be intimidated.
Yeah, I go in for two reasons. One is there's a lot of people in the audience who just listen. and I want them to hear both sides of the argument. I do not want them to hear one side and one side only. And two, is it's intelligence gathering. I want to know what their talking points are. I want to know, you know.
That might be a good reason.
Yeah, no, for me, that's the best reason, because that way if I run into somebody or a relative says something and says,
Yeah,
oh,
you know
what
the narrative.
Exactly.
What about
So
the dopamine?
yeah,
That's
Zach.
it.
That too, yeah, Zach, you're right.
Especially that.
Yeah, you know what?
No, you know,
For
I mean,
example,
here's
this
That
woman,
moves the world, Zach.
you
Dopamine.
know what's great? You know what's great is I tend to just correct facts. I don't really get into this, like, I don't take the normal approach of just confrontational. And other people are just very confrontational, like Ian and a couple other people. And I just work on facts. So there was this woman who's new to that room called International, and I think she's from Minnesota. And she's like, did you know it's by law that only 15% of the $3 or almost $4 billion that Israel gets is military, and the rest supports their economy? And I'm like, no, there's no way that's possible. And so in the background, I go to foreignassistance.gov. It's produced by the USAID, and it lists every single dollar in groups. So 3.8 of almost $3.85 billion was military, and then there was this pitiful small amounts, $360,000, $1.2 million. And so if you added up all of the little small things, it was like 1%, and 99% of the dollars were military. And I posted the link and I said, okay, you're so completely wrong. Here's the actual data. And to be honest, that's the dopamine hit that I get. Like when Amir says XYZ, and I like, what did he say? He said something that was so.
Yaakov, are you hiding from your wife?
No, why?
Oh.
She works from home, and I just respect her autonomy, and I don't want to get in her way, so I'm talking
Listen,
a little bit quiet.
Yaakov, it's a circus in there, man. I mean, Amir, the so-called sort of control of the room and his psychic ace, that whole circus.
You're very
It's
funny.
abuse, talk over, control, spin, avoid the real debate. That's what it all is. And they're starting to crack. So, like, you've got Amir, this one. He's more like censor-in-chief than anything else. I mean, he absolutely loves the mute button. And more than anything, actual conversation. So he can't actually debate the facts. So he just silences people instead and then talks over them and tries to give his narrative. And he kind of tries to present himself as a neutral, but is always guiding the narrative. I don't know if you've noticed that. But the second thing that doesn't go away is the mute. You know, and also
He's a big fan of sending people to the audience, so.
yeah, have you come across like his backup crew? I don't know, like he's got Ace, obviously the walking distraction. It just doesn't stop.
No, my favorite is Sella.
Yeah, Seller as well. It doesn't actually make arguments, just kind of makes a noise. But the backup crew as well.
Who's Salavi?
Yeah, Sella V, yeah.
He used to lead rooms 2 years ago. Now
Yeah,
he's
she
writing
turned
for
radical.
Amir.
Yeah, she turned radical. She was.
She was pretending to be such a moderate, such a glorious human being.
There's a group of people I call October 8th supporters, meaning they had no clue. They weren't tracking Israel, Palestine, nothing. And then the day after this started, or maybe a few weeks after this, all of a sudden there's these, oh my God, this is terrible. Israel's the worst. And they have such thin knowledge, they don't understand even any of the historical facts that you and I just wouldn't know off the top of our heads.
Caleb, you're in that room quite a lot as well. I mean, you keep quite silent. You only speak when you're spoken to. Caleb, I don't know what your thoughts are about it. You also go in there.
I think Amir in particular is a trained agent of mis and disinformation. I don't know if he's paid or not, but I think he's trained.
I don't think
You're
so.
so bad.
He's a used car salesman. No,
No,
this
so
is-
that.
I think he has this tactic.
Do you really think that he's a trained?
No, he's not trained by
Yes.
anyone. This
Yeah, I do.
is a passion play for him, and all of a sudden he's figured out this is my side calling in life.
Okay, I think I was asked my opinion, wasn't I?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
I would say
You don't have to.
Yes, I see they made a mistake.
The reason why
Okay,
I'm interested.
move on.
You don't have to correct. You don't have to do that. It's just an opinion.
Yes, you're right.
I respect your opinion, Caleb, but I'm surprised
Oh
that
my
you
God, then respect it by shutting up.
Caleb,
Whether
I'm
he's-
interested in your opinion because you're in there.
So then be quiet and I'll give it to you.
Go on, man.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Whether he's paid or trained or not, he clearly has a tactic of distraction and diversion, lying, right? Lying about what people say, lying about what people's intent, deliberate misunderstanding, and yeah, I think that's my take on Amir. Sela, I think, just hates Jews, right? And the rest of them, I think what I find interesting is, this is an interesting phenomenon, is when like Amir and others will shut down Palestinian voices because they don't cohere with the particular narrative that Amir wants to push. And I've seen that before too, and I find that like exceptionally surprising
What do you mean?
and weird.
Can you give an example? I haven't.
Yeah, Mike said something like yesterday, and they shut him down. And like of all the Palestinian voices, Mike, I think, is like right? And he's I don't like what he has to say, right? But he's there and he wants to actually stay to the issues, whereas I think Amir wants to distract and divert with other kinds of nonsense.
Mike Schrader?
No, Mike, the Palestinian guy.
Oh,
What is his shtick, the Mike guy?
He's a gay Palestinian living in America that's rabidly anti-Semitic.
Yeah, totally. But he's like, yeah, you maybe from before. He was around a lot before he was.
don't
Yeah, he only came back.
What was his like diversions from the narrative?
He usually makes gay innuendo to make people uncomfortable. Other than that, he's just your basic anti-Semite, that's a Zionist or something.
Why did they shut him up?
I don't know. I was in the room when they.
so, Caleb, question, or other people question, why did they allow, I believe it's Edmund, who comes in as this point taking this woman, and he's such a super, like, in-your-face troll that just is so funny, but is just in the way of any form of serious conversation.
Edmund is amazing.
Look, what I found quite interesting yesterday, if you don't mind me bringing this up, is that Shlomi went into their room yesterday. He had the courage. Now, he's somebody who's obviously going through some serious treatment because of what he's been through. And by the way, for those of you who don't know, he was a hostage. But he went into their room yesterday, and you know, this guy's been through absolute hell and back. And now he's dealing with trauma. He's dealing with therapy. He's rebuilding his life. Yet he still walked into that room to speak directly to those who support the people who took him.
I respected that. To be honest, I respected that.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable strength. I mean, but the second he left the room, it turned completely venomous. Not just against, well, it wasn't so much against him, but against the entire situation. Now, look, he had the courage, and they had a very interesting conversation afterwards because they spoke about what would the conversation be like if a Hamas prisoner or a Palestinian prisoner were to come into this room. I mean, that's courage that they'll never ever have. And he didn't hide behind a mute button. He didn't run. He walked into a hostile space. He spoke about what happened, and he faced them head on. Meanwhile,
How did they treated him?
okay,
What was the
so I'll
conversation?
come to that in a second. The same people can't even handle a debate without muting or deflecting, but that's the difference between real strength and then hiding behind a screen.
But you know what
They
was
had the way they
amazing?
treated him. Yeah, the way they treated him actually was that. Sorry. I know you want to talk, Jakob, but just give me.
No,
one
I'm
second.
sorry. I apologize. I thought you were
Don't worry.
finished.
The way they treated him was with, I would say, muted respect to some degree. They were asking him questions. They were interested to find out they were generally okay. There were a few comments that were going back and forth in the chat, which were absolutely disgusting. But those people didn't come up. In fact, Amir didn't let them come up because he knew that it would become incredibly venomous. And I think actually Amir had an emotional bone that I've never seen come out before listening to him, because I think there were a few people who turned around and said, we felt emotional listening to his story. And that in itself was fucking courageous. I don't know. I could not say how I or any of you would feel in that circumstance if you were put in that situation. Would you ever dare enter a room like that where you know what these people think?
I don't know. It's sorry to cut you off before. I have a hard time telling when people are wrapping up or when they want to continue. It's just a breath.
Same here.
For me, the most important. What? Had someone else have that power? Because it's
Yeah,
terrible.
I also have that
There's no non-verbal cues on this app, so it destroys my abilities. For me, the most important thing was he utterly destroyed their narrative that Israelis were killing Israelis. They were like, Sella was like, in a country so militarized, how come there were only 5? Are you telling us there were only 5 policemen? He goes, yeah, 5 policemen. Who, and then she was like, wasn't there shots fired throughout the thing? He goes, no, 300 meters away, there was a road checkpoint, and that's where all of the shooting took place. Every time, no matter how they worded the question, he was like, it was a peace fair. There's no guns at peace fairs. There's just like kids trying to have fun. And he just completely destroyed every argument that Israelis were killing Israelis.
The thing is, though, he may have destroyed it, but they recorded the room, and they're only going to play snippets, and they're going to say they only had 5 police officers there because they set it up. They're going to change the narrative.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I just want to wait. Hold on. I just want to point out the low IQ comment in the comment section. Thank you, El Santos, for proving me right yet again.
Where do you see this?
In the chat.
It's not relevant. Why bring it up? Stop giving.
It's just funny.
I know, don't even give people like that oxygen.
Well, my suspicion about them being how put it who said it with mutual respect. I think they actually want, like, they are smart enough to understand that this is like content that they can later respin, so they don't want to ruin it by being toxic and like dragging away the source of that information. So that kind of indicates what previously been said about them being like, well, maybe if not trained, but at least having like that common sense.
There was still some guy up on stage saying, I hope they catch you again and kill you.
Someone said that? I didn't hear that, TV.
Shlomi's existence is proof that their narrative is built on hypocrisy, but his voice, like, is stronger than all of their lies combined, and that's the main thing here.
And so they also...
Can I ask, how did Shlomi end up in that room?
Amir has been asking him for 2 weeks to come, and he went. And he went with amazing courage and strength, and he handled it like a champ.
100%. I'm really upset I missed that room, to be honest.
They also asked many political questions, like, would October 7th not occurred if there was movement towards a 2-state solution? And he was just like, I don't know. Like, he was just, they wanted a particular answer, like, well, of course, if this didn't happen, then that wouldn't have happened. And he's like, I have no idea. And I like those kind of answers, because he's like a guy on the street. He's not a politician, he's not a political science guy. Like, all these people play, clubhouse warrior, clubhouse general, clubhouse, statesman, clubhouse expert on this country. And we're all guys on the streets, and he just stated, I have no idea. And he said that on 3 different occasions. I can't remember what the other 2 were. And they just didn't have a comeback for it. They weren't prepared for that. They wanted the answer, well, if Palestine had a state, this wouldn't have occurred. And he wasn't prepared to give them that answer.
Anyway, look, I mean, moving from that, I don't know if you noticed, but if you've known, but actually moments ago there was another attempt to launch a rocket from Gaza towards Israel, which is a clear violation of the ceasefire deal. So it's just every moment there's a new piece of the puzzle being put together and then taken apart.
I mean, are we surprised?
No, but Israel's got every right to defend itself, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it landed within Gaza. These like people are killing their own people.
So is this thing about somebody shared a link yesterday about Bibi confirming the thoughts of Donald Trump when he said if by Saturday noon, oh, Meyer is here, thank God. If by Saturday noon the rest of the hostages are not back, he's gonna bomb the shit out of Gaza again. Is that true?
There were two statements that came out of Israel yesterday. It may have been the day before also that said the cabinet met and they're prepared to do whatever's necessary.
Smoke that weed good, that's why. Burn it right.
The president said, but then late last night there was another statement that said the deal would still continue if they released 3 prisoners. So to me it seems like it's in a state of flux, but what's happening in their heads, who knows?
Okay, so it's not definitive yet.
No, the first statement was, you don't give us all the people that,
I need 30 minutes.
major combat operations or continue, or start again, resume, whatever word you want to use. And the other one was, the peace agreement the ceasefire agreement will continue if you give 3 people back. So who knows?
Sorry, I'm being a Chad warrior right now.
There's some attacks happening in Europe.
Ooh, who's what's
What
happening?
did you say about Europe?
Germany grenade throwing in France. What the hell are you guys doing?
What?
Where are you reading this? What news source?
Yeah, someone threw a grenade into a crowd in France.
Is that Muslims again?
Hard to say because I think
No, it's those darn Christians again.
It was in Grenoble.
Okay, he has left.
Places. That sounds like
Welcome to Low IQ Dumb People Talking About Nothing, Wasting Time.
I know, yeah. Well, I came in here for a minute, but then I went in there and I listened to them, low IQ dumb people talking about nothing, wasting time. And then I thought, God, this is really just a bunch of low IQ dumb people talking about nothing, waste, and better things with my time.
You know what it's
I was reading from the Bible. Do you like the Bible?
Yeah, it's good. But, what's nicer is reading a condensed version of the Bible, compress it even more. So I have these Bible cards where it's just like all Bible verses, Old Testament, New Testament. And I feel like that is the neurolinguistic programming people really need because it's very quick.
Right. I was reading in Deuteronomy. Have you read that one?
Mm-hmm.
And it says a lot of times, you must purge the evil from among you.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was an interesting concept. Not necessarily that we want to be stoning people to death, but just the concept of purging evil from your community, where you find some evil or low IQ, dumb, harmful behavior that you think is potential to destroy the community, and you say, hey, you know what? that's actually really dumb, low IQ, harmful behavior that has the potential to destroy the community. And I want to purge this from my community. And we as community members, it just kept saying, you must purge the evil from among you. And I was like, hey, Jesus, kind of intense here, but that's what I was reading.
I mean, generally, it's evil within that is the problem, because other people can be irascible, low IQ, and evil. But if you're seeing them, I think this is why Orthodox Jews, don't look at a pretty woman, like they keep their eyes, they don't indulge the periphery.
So Lao Tzu, you can't hypnotize Zach, right?
Yeah, Zach's unhypnotizable.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Well, Zach is smart.
You don't think I can be hypnotized?
Well, I think
John already has hypnotized me. He made me put wisdom books in my truck.
Oh,
So that now when I go on a nature walk with people, I can do a little wisdom book reading.
Mm-hmm.
I know I sound like I'm joking, but there is a level of hypnosis that's in play because I can't help but join his rooms and listen to the Taoism.
Because you're smart as well. I mean, regardless of your irascible behavior and your unwillingness to come forward about your posting a picture in your face, and I think that you are somebody who also doesn't want to listen. I mean, it's nice listening to the wisdom of the ancients, and John has a nice reading voice,
100%.
and he's doing a great service to our community of losers here by reading wisdom books, and I think I really like. I mean, sometimes I listen. I appreciate the service that you provide for us, John, because I often listen to you read when I'm cleaning my house or working in my workshop or at the gym, and it's nice listening to that shit,
100%. And I just feel like a lot of Clubhouse is, in other words, John's words, clown house, right? I told him this prior to finding him on here and going to his rooms that I was already on that journey of enlightenment and self-discovery. I was already reading books like Eckhart Tolle, Taoism and things. So as he was playing, I was like, I might as well join his rooms because this is stuff I was already reading prior.
Right, and the entirety of the rest of this app is just low IQ dumb people talking about nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like some people didn't go to college, so they have no idea what college is like, which is essentially just sitting in a room reading books, talking about it, writing essays, and then talking about it more and doing presentations and doing public speeches. I mean,
that's what it's supposed to be. I wonder if I have this infographic. Somebody posted. Well, it's not an infographic. It's just a list of classes. I didn't say it, but it was a list of classes at the local university. It was 65 classes, and they were all race and ethnicity and gender and ethnicity and Marxism, a new analysis, or Marxism and Lizzo lyrics, and these are 100 classes that are all being anyway.
yeah. I mean, I guess you do it in those classes as well, but the problem is you're not really cultivating yourself with the wisdom of the ancients. It's just modern
I was very
theory.
disillusioned. My father told me, when you go to college, you're going to stay up late at night, smoking weed with people, maybe talking about books. And then I went to college, and people wanted to stay up late at night, but nobody really wanted to talk about books.
Well, that's because everybody's irascible. I mean, we are our own worst enemies. That's why I'm telling you, Jews got the edge.
I wrote a song called My Own Worst Enemy. It's a good song. I bet you've never heard it, but you might enjoy it.
Maybe you should read a poem on YouTube, from the Tao Te Ching, put it on YouTube as a 15-second clip, and then text me the clip of the 15 seconds, and then I'll publish it. I'll post it all over my accounts. Focus on the new stuff. I mean, the song, your old stuff is your old stuff. Unless you want to try to remarket it. I'm telling you.
Some people do that. Kate Bush running up the hill.
Listen, the whole thing is on this app, we have the opportunity to create live, to publish and create things live with these books. I really want you to help me do this because you'll be amazed at the results, especially with Tao Te Ching, because what you're doing is using one of the most powerful, hypnotic, universal documents ever created. The algorithm loves it. and the people that listen to it love it. Everyone loves the Tao. Everyone. So try it, and then send me the link via text and be like, dude, I created a Tao YouTube channel, and here is my first 15-second poem. And I'll be like, wow, you're doing it. You're doing it.
What do you think about producing new music?
I would
That's a
go
good
with
idea.
the poetry first,
Yeah.
because I mean, I don't know, like, you need to look at it as you need to be a creator, a publisher, a producer, a director, choreographer. Like, you don't need to produce Zach Ruda music. You can produce somebody named Susie Shandong, and produce her. Like, you alone are not enough. I mean, all the big catalogs and libraries and directories, like, you need to create. I don't know. To me, the DAO is just a good base. It's like the perfect base to start with. But do whatever you want. I mean, just be creative and create as much as you can, and then see what sticks, and then refine what sticks. You have to do more experimentation. I don't think you're doing enough experimentation. You're getting closer and closer, but like doing and going and going and doing. I mean, I can show you my YouTube account. It's got 5,000 videos on it with only 1.4 thousand subscribers. All these other people have like 300 videos and millions of followers. So my content is definitely shadow banned, but either that, it's just, anyways, it's a network. I don't have the network, but I'm trying to do the political stuff. And my friend Max, who I'm trying to get him to come on Clubhouse, he does not want to come on here. And I'm like, I want you to go onto Clubhouse so I can create 30 set, I just need your time for 30 minutes so I can create these political campaign videos and, get your real time feedback and have you participate. But I can't get him to participate. So I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to do anything if other people do. If people are telling me to do this, but yet they don't want to be present in the moment with me as I'm doing it, well, then I don't want to do it. I want active participation. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. I'm in a position where I can say, you know what? I don't really give a shit. I'm not going to do anything unless you do it with me. So, that's the way I'm looking at it. But you know what else Clubhouse is like? It's like these girls that are thirst trapping on Instagram. As you go through the stories, you see these beautiful women, playing with their hair, saying, ha ha ha, I'm not in the winter snow anymore. I'm in Florida, bitch. Ha ha ha. Like that whole thirst trapping thing is the same thing that Clown House is. All these rooms are basically like thirst traps. It's exactly what they are. But, it's just low IQ dumb people talking and wasting time. I really like that competitive reframe because it, like in that room you were just in and everybody's talking and then Issa is exploding and screaming saying, Jesus, can't we just fucking have one person fucking talking at once? The fuck? Like that type of anxiety, to be a participant in that anxiety and like have those feelings as opposed to just like letting them flow over you and knowing that it's just dumb people talking about nothing and recording them. It's like you get the last laugh, and it doesn't affect you emotionally or personally. Like by listening and recording, I am like now like an unmovable stone where like if I go out into the real world and I hear this shit, I would never participate. That's the thing is participation essentially implies compliance to a certain extent, and I don't like to comply. And anyways, yeah. Not participating in these rooms and listening to people exhaust themselves and get angry and scream like and waste their emotional energy is just, it's delightful in a way because you realize, oh God, that was me. I was wasting my time. I was talking about nothing and participating and getting angry and fighting back and saying, why won't you fucking listen to me? I'm fucking talking. Why can't you shut the fuck up and fucking listen to me? Oh. Welcome back to the room. All right, do you want to do any recordings here, or are you busy doing your thing?
Well, I'm going to the gym, but I guess I could this afternoon. I have to go to the gym, otherwise I'll just continue to hate myself.
There's only now. I mean, do the recording. You only need 10 minutes to make some recordings. Do it now, and then go to the gym.
Another phone?
You can jump off of here, shoot a 15-second YouTube clip. I'll pin it to the room. We'll listen to it. I'll create one. Then you'll create one. I'll create one. You create one. I'll create it. It'll take like a couple minutes. You keep missing every day. You know, like you're just going on your same pattern. You need the Tao to essentially reverse engineer your spiral because it's a book on spirals. So
Well, that's true, but for me, going to the gym every day is a new pattern.
yeah, well then that's a good thing. That's great. I mean, I couldn't live without it. I would die. I would literally die. It would take me probably a couple weeks to die if I didn't go to the gym.
Did you play sports in high school or in college, or you were in the military?
Yeah, I played sports in high school and college.
Okay, I didn't play sports in high school. I didn't play sports in college, and I didn't go to the military.
Mhm.
All I did was smoke weed and talk about irascible garbage online with low IQ dumb people.
You did this in college?
Yeah, I've been doing this shit for 20 years.
And you don't have like a library of 30,000 videos and like 1 million followers?
Well, I do kind of. Have you seen my YouTube channel? I mean, I had 3,000 followers on Instagram, 5,000 followers on Facebook.
Had or still do?
I still have.
Okay, so why
Well,
aren't
I
you
lost
why aren't you recording 15-second clips of Tao and publishing them to those accounts? People will love the poetry. Why aren't you
Well-
reading Tanya? I mean, you're not creating, Zach. You don't even send me any links of anything new. So you're not creating. You have to. You're a waiter who just started going to the gym. I'm trying to give you the magic formula, and you're just like, you know, it's just blowing over your head. That's fine. I'm just giving you a huge opportunity to shortcut and to cut the matrix and hack it. Like the Tao really is that book because it's so universal. It's so primordial and deals with, you know, what a lot of people are dealing with on this app. It's a therapeutic tool. You're missing out on a big opportunity that I keep trying to put in front of your face every day. I will gently keep putting it in front of your face because like to get angry with you over the fact that you're not doing what I want you to do is a waste of my time, and it's not worth my emotional energy to, you know, to say, Zach, please keep doing this. I'll just keep patiently
appreciate
saying it.
having you in my life, but I think that I am in a period of transition that has been taking probably a little too long, but it's a particular place in my own journey where I'm at right now. Everything happens for a reason.
You do you, but I just, you know, I'm giving you really great advice that if you were to test it and experiment with it, you'd be like, whoa, this actually is getting some results. Maybe I will continue testing and experimenting with this. Because look at what everybody's doing all day long, Zach. We're exchanging words on this app, off of this app. That is our primary function in life, is communication. So if you just pick up a preset arrangement of incredible communication, you're so far ahead of everybody else because nobody else is utilizing this advanced form of communication known as the Tao Te Ching. So you can keep wasting your communication efforts with no results. But if you, and I can show you the proof because my videos are getting thousands of views just reading 15-second snippets from Tao. That's it. It's very simple to do. You should try it and experiment with it. Use your pre-existing accounts. I wish I could just like do a body switch with you for like a week and then you go back into your body and you're like, what did you do? And then you look at all your accounts and you're like, holy shit, dude, I can't believe what you just did. Like, wow, okay, maybe I'll try it. That's the way to look at it. I mean, have you ever heard Daniel or Issa pick up a book on this app and read it? I never have.
No, I guess not. Yeah, they don't even really. Yeah, they don't like to do those things.
Have you ever heard Soren pick up a book? Celavi, Edward, or any piece of shit on this app pick up a book and read it? I never heard that. I just don't have respect for people that don't read books. It's like, oh, you want me to take you seriously? You want me to have a in-depth conversation with you? Okay, what was the last book you read? Oh, I haven't read a book since 2005. All right, fugazi. Forget about it.
All right, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go to the gym, and then I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna do something productive this afternoon.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Take care. Have a great day. Oh, look who it is, Freddy. He's got a beautiful rifle there. Wow. I wonder if he knows how to use it. Bet he doesn't. I bet you if he's got a jam, he doesn't even know how to clear a jam on a rifle. I think he's one of those low IQ people. I hope maybe you learn sometime how to actually use that rifle, Freddy. Stick it up your ass, pull the trigger till it goes click. This one's for you, Freddy. What happened here? Where's the audio? This phone is having some complications. I don't know what's the deal. What's the deal with my phone not working anymore? That's right. Be what you are. Be free. Have liberty. Ugh, this phone is fucked up.
Through this, and I was the most nervous I was, and I, major surgery, orthopedic surgery. The most nervous I was getting assigned someone that, you take your jewelry off before you go in, so they wouldn't have seen. But my last name is, and I had a genuine concern.
Well,
and my doctor was like a wasp. I couldn't say it to my doctor.
No, I know, but like her last name, because my younger kids have their dad's last name, right? My last name is nowhere near Jewish. Like my last name comes from my dad, the Italian side.
Italian, so.
But the thing is I got it, I have it tattooed on me. I have a tattoo on my neck with my Hebrew name. I can't hide that shit. I have a high on my hand.
But you're not going.
My
into
other
the
tattoos
surgery.
I can hide.
She's
My
going.
necklace I can hide, but
She's going into the surgery. It's her.
she's
on
going.
the
I don't
table.
know yet. Well, I'm kind of jumping ahead. I don't know, but I have to go meet with the surgeon and the plastic surgeon, and then we got to see where we're going. But even the doctors, like now, it's just making me think. I mean, on one hand, this is from her pediatrician who referred me as a Jew. He's been my kid's.
Honeybook completely changed how I do business. I'm a photographer in independent business. It's a fact.
Let me put you onto something. Getting your degree online. No, but seriously, this is something a lot of people sleep on. Well, we actually have over 200.
Freddie Williams.
Hello, Alan Watts. How are you, Mr. Alan Watts? I've been listening to you all the time. Y'all meditating?
Hi, Phoenix. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing great.
Good. What's new?
What's new? I did massage yesterday in the spa, and I feel today I feel my muscles are really. It's like painful. But I slept really good.
Mm.